In this next step, we're going to create something called a flat sequence. This will allow us to control how certain sections of our VI execute. Right click on the block diagram, click on programming, and then select flat sequence structure. Now I'm going to make a frame of about this size, and then on the right hand side of the frame, select add frame after and make it approximately this size. So that has us ready to be able to use these two frames. The next step is to create something called a local variable. And to do this, right click on the page, under programming and structures, click on local, and it puts up a box with a question mark. First of all, we're going to change it to something called change to read. And what this does is that we're going to be able to use this local variable anywhere in our program to be able to write to these three LEDs. I'm going to connect these two together, and then I have to tie this local variable so that I ensure that I'm reading or writing to the red LED. So right click on here, select item, in this case we want red, and we're going to do the same thing to the other two. So right click, local variable, and we have to change it to a read, connect these together, and then right click on the question mark, select item, and click on amber. And I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom one. Now we have a variable attached to each of our control icons, the red, amber, and green. My next step is to select all of these, and we're going to use them in our flat sequence. So hold down the control key so we can copy them. We're going to copy them to here as well as over to here. My next step is that we want to be able to write something to these variables. So on each variable, click change to write. We have to do it to all 6. Notice that once we change them to a write, the box look a little bit different, because this time we're going to be writing something to those boxes. So they're almost like indicators. Our next step is to add true or false to each one, and in this flat sequence panel we want to make the red light true, and in the next group we want to make the green light true. So go ahead and do that. I'll show you how to do one. So create constant, and we want that to be true, so just use the mouse button to click on that, and we'll do the rest to the other 5. Now that we have all objects properly set up in these two boxes, I want to add a time delay in each box. In the left hand side, I'm going to add a 2-second delay, and right click here and create constant and put 2000 to represent 2 seconds, and put a 2-second delay in the second box. We're going to add a while structure around all of this information, so programming, structures, while loop, and on the stop icon create a control, and you should see a stop button up on the front panel now. Now what we're going to do is run this to see what happens. Okay, what you should notice happening is it's going between red and green, and that's because it's executing this panel for 2 seconds, then it's executing this one for 2 seconds, and since it's in a while loop, it repeats it over and over again. This panel, this panel, this panel, and so on. Okay, so you can change the speed in between, and if I add a third panel, which you should try, we can actually have the amber light turn on and off. So add a third panel, and you can do that by pressing stop and right clicking here, insert a frame, make it wide enough to put all our items in there, include the time delay. And I can do it very easily by selecting all of these items with the arrow on one of the items that's highlighted and the control key for copy, I can move everything into this next box and it'll auto resize. I didn't quite put it in the right place, so I've got to select those items again. I'm just going to drag this closer, select all the items, and drag it into this box, and this time it did go there. Now what I need to change here is I want the amber light to come on, so press true and press false for the other, and let's give this a try. And let's change the time to 1000 here. And run it. So in this sequence, it's red, amber, and green. And the amber is a little quicker than the other two. So that demos how we can make use of a sequence structure. So again, the way this works is that it executes what's in the first box, waits till the time has completed, then the second, then the third, and since it's in a while loop, it comes back and does it again. If I didn't have that while loop, it would just do it one time. Okay, so that's the end of the demo for this part. Thank you.